It's not like the United States.
Oh, no, not at all, man. Pull up the front gate. Like, look at the intricacy in this where it's just like, that's all basically one piece of metal that's woven together.
That's
so
nuts.
I don't know if you can zoom in anymore. I mean, those are all and then it's poison ivy, you know, like, so I just spent hours like a psychopath outside of this gate, like taking photographs of like, and then there's all these like crazy gargoyles and like the detail in the building is unbelievable. There's like demons flying around and like angels with swords. Like, I mean, look at this. This is woven together, man. It's unreal. From a blacksmith standpoint, it's unbelievable.
Can you imagine just hammer? I mean, you're not using a power hammer.
No, this is before power.
Crazy.
Power
they have wheel hammers.
Yeah, it was like a donkey or something. Then I think.
Probably heavy as hell.
Yeah, crazy, man. And to give it some perspective, like if you go back to that last photo that you were just on, nope, go one over the one at the base. So those uprights right there,
yeah,
probably 1.5 inch thick material. So it's not like it's a little 3/8 piece of fucking steel, dude. Like
1095.
Yeah,
you're like you're working through that.
It's wild, man. But right next to this there's a bridge that was completely bombed during World War II, and they've reconstructed it. So you walk across this bridge to get to this place, and there's still bullet holes in it from like the fighter planes going over. It's cool ass city.
It's heavy. Like, so
matter of fact, this building, there's a whole chunk taken out of one of the corners of the walls. I have a ton of photos of this stuff.
What the Allies did to Germany, it's like, I mean, they bombed it. Like, well, and then, I mean, the Nazis bombed, like,
it's a wonder that these buildings, I think these buildings are so iconic and so breathtaking when you get to them. It's a wonder that they're still there, but I think it was respected. Like, this is a no-fly zone.
Yeah, well, it definitely was. There was definitely certain things that were respected, but there was a lot of things that was just like almost like divine intervention. Like, I don't know how it didn't just absolutely get destroyed. So, like, in Bavaria and Munich, the hotel that we stayed at, it's called like the Bayer Eicherhof. Their bar, their main bar in that hotel, everything else was just bombed, and just everything around it. And then there's like 300 or 400-year-old mirror that somehow escaped the bombing. That part of that building, like the actual bar room, is the only thing in that block that stayed standing.
Wow.
And like it's pretty nuts to like see all that stuff, and like that stuff is old.
That's so wild, man.
Like, you're like, wow.
We did a festival. This was eerie as shit, man. We did a festival. I think it was it Nuremberg? Where did Hitler make his big ass speech? Like, where it was like all the tanks lined up and.
Oh, I should definitely know this.
Was it in Berlin?
It might have been in Berlin.
Dude, we did a festival at that site. And the stage was like, the stage wasn't set up where Hitler had a speech, but we went all around that place. Like, and it was just fucking weird, man. It was crazy.
It wasn't the opera house. It was the outdoor.
It was the outdoor speech.
It's the famous
iconic,
one.
Man.
Yeah, it's the one that they model like all the Empire Strikes Back type speech.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Like it's
100%.
It's all like the Star Wars like stuff that they model.
Dude, I saw a meme of him posted at like the 19.
Have you heard any of his speech translated like through AI?
No.
It's
AI can do that?
Yeah.
They will do it?
Yeah. So the AI like translates his speech to where like you're listening to it in like English. So like everything that you hear of Hitler, you're like, man, this is like crazy. He's just yelling and stuff, and a lot of his stuff just sounds like, and like when you're listening to it in German, you're like, oh, this guy is a freaking nut job. And then you hear it, it's like, you're like, that's not at all what I thought he was saying. it's actually like it's crazy. And then they're like, oh, this is how he tricked this many people into these crazy beliefs. Because like for me, I'm like, how could this whole society like get tricked into
brainwashed,
like
really?
brainwashed into stuff like this? But he was.
That's it. Yeah.
Hitler was an absolute.
It is Nuremberg.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Hitler was an absolute savant when it came to like manipulating people's perspective and the way that he talked to people, and like he was so captivating and such a larger than life figure. It's actually
unbelievable that like he was just like the runt of the military. Like nobody really wanted to be around him, and he worked his way up into that like sort of.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's crazy when you think about it.
You know his mustache? Here's a little piece of history for you that I didn't know. Do you know this about his mustache?
Tell me. Yeah, I may have heard it before.
So apparently that wasn't like the look. He had a full on like handlebar mustache. And he was a soldier at some point. Was it during World War I?
World War I. He was a soldier in World War I.
So you couldn't put on, and they were gassing. That's when like gassing got really big. So his mustache, he had always had a mustache for some reason, right? Like just like I've always had a beard.
Yeah.
Dude. Like I've always had a goatee or a beard. But anyways, it would start leaking. The gases would leak through his gas mask. So he just trimmed it down to this, and he kept it like that for ever. That's why he has that little thing.
That's wild. Yeah. Like, yeah, I mean, yeah, Hitler's story is actually like, it's pretty nuts. He was like a big mama's boy.
Yeah.
He was like a little softy. And like
he was kind of like a little bitch that made it big, big time.
Yeah, man. It's not like that's like no joke.
But it's like Justin Bieber turning into a world leader or a president. And I don't mean to, or Macaulay Culkin, or like one of these like Hollywood stars.
Yeah, he was like really big into the arts, and like he was like all that type of stuff. And dude, it's pretty crazy to see how things like changed like. Man, like the gargoyles too that you were talking about earlier, like just seeing that in Munich, and then they're like, there's a gargoyle in like the square that I was in, and then they're like, yeah, this is where like Hitler had one of his apartments, and like I'm like, wait, what? And like there's just like a gargoyle sitting there, and then you just get like this eerie feeling. And I'm like,
I don't like those fucking things,
dude. I'm like, what is this?
Pull up the Dom in Cologne, Germany.
Yeah, so this square here.
Okay,
this is
we can go back to that.
So, that screaming gargoyle right there is in like the square that I was in where Hitler like was at. And you're like, what the
those are older than our country, dude.
Yeah, I'm like, this is not. It makes you. I'm like, what is going on? Like, I'm like, what is going on? And like, you're like, everybody, like, there's a bunch of shops, and like there's a mall right there, like an outdoor mall, and you're just like, and then you just look up and you see one of these gargoyles, and you're like, what is going on here?
What is around that one? Is that gridded out, like, or is it chicken wire so birds don't land on it? No, the one just to the right
it's
of
chicken wire, so the birds don't
shit on it.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of that type of stuff, and then like the churches, and like that was the first time in Munich.
Look at that one, dude. That one is because that resembles that's Gollum, dude.
Yeah,
that is Gollum from Lord of the Rings,
for real. And like, so I was fascinated with all this stuff, and then you go into the churches in Munich, and then like, man, they have priests.
I know where the rest of the podcast is going
like
right now.
The dead body, like the priests, like just you watch this dude like literally just like bones just like rotten,
bro.
It's like,
have you spent any time in Paris?
So Germany and Ireland are the only European countries I've been to.
The catacombs.
There's no way, dude.
It is unbelievable.
That's
unbelievable.
That's what the black community. That's white people stuff.
It straight up is white.